Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Human trafficking remains a pressing but often overlooked issue, also here in Poland, as the world marks the International Day Against Trafficking in Persons on July 30th. Local data shows that over 90% of cases involve forced labor, frequently affecting migrant communities. Now, to shed light on how this plays out on the ground and what can be done, we speak with Tomasz Bauer, community expert, Nomada Association. Thanks so much for joining us here on TVP World.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. I'm very glad that this topic starts to be covered by media because it's very important and it's kind of growing phenomenon in Poland.
Okay, so let's start with that. Tomasz, tell me about the scale right now in Poland. How bad is it? Tell us a little bit about what's it look like right now.
It's very difficult to assess because we, as a Foundation La Strada, which works a lot with people who experience human trafficking, they say it's about like few thousand or maybe dozen thousands of people. But the problem is also to assessing because a lot of people never reach us, never claim because they are scared to claim for their rights. And also because there's some blurry area in Poland, in Polish law, that is used by work agencies, and a lot of people who actually experience human traffic, they have no chance to be categorized as victims of human trafficks. And these people can be much, much more.
Mm-hmm. You're saying also as well that not many people report this. They suffer through this. Many of them are afraid. There's a lot of fear to this. Tell us a little bit more, Tomasz, about the vulnerability. Why are migrants in particular so vulnerable to trafficking, to forced labor? And maybe what are some red flags? What are some things that they can watch out for so they can prevent this kind of thing happening to them?
Okay, we can start because maybe I tell about how the system created by work agencies. And this in the beginning, first, it's when it starts in countries of origin of people, they cooperate with working recruitment agencies in their countries, and they make offers which are totally not connected with reality. For example, that you can earn few thousand euro in Poland, which is totally not possible, and a lot of people all borrow money to come to Poland. Sometimes they borrow from these agencies, and these agencies also are many times connected with mafia, for example, in Colombia. So they have already debt, they come with debt, and they have to pay this debt back. And another thing is that what is when they reach Poland, there's a system created of dependency by work agencies. First, in the law, employer is obliged to start the procedure for work permit. And they collect money for these people who came, and they claim that they start this procedure. And many times after a few months, people realize that no procedure is covered. So they start to be undocumented in Poland. And that's why there is no that working agencies, they don't start residence procedure. Of course, it's not their responsibility, but they don't inform people that they have to do this. So there's lack of information, and people failed in undocumentation. And when they fail in undocumentation, they start to be totally dependent of working agencies.
Mm-hmm. Also, you said this starts already by very much pushed by criminal organizations, mafia, not just in a country, but very much abroad. You mentioned there South America.
Yes.
What about then if we look at Poland and what it's doing? Where are the weaknesses here? How are the authorities addressing this? And what in your mind is missing to combat this problem?
The first thing is it's regarding law. There are two things in law which should be changed. First, it's giving penalties for the penalized people who work illegally without knowing this, without being aware of this, because this is kind of they block them. They block them to report if they start to be victims of human trafficking, because when I said before, many times they have debt in their own countries, and when they report it and they have decision they had to come back to their countries, they prefer not to report it. Mm-hmm. So this is the first thing should be checked. If really the reason that someone works illegally is it comes from decision of this person, or it's just it's like the purpose start to be like kind of misled by work agencies. Another thing is like definition of human trafficking in Poland. And because many times in like border guard, in police, procurator, the definition is very narrow. So if you are not physically pushed or you are not locked, and nobody steal your passport, you are not recognized as a victim of human trafficking. But there are 2 points in definition which are used by work agencies. First is give fake information to the people. For example, we start your working procedure. So people like come start to work. The people start to work with this working agency, being sure because they recognize Poland as European country where the law is functioning, that they are being sure that everything is legal. First thing. Another thing is like using vulnerability of the people, because also what is happening, like a part of this that many times they are not in the system without knowing this. Also, many times they are put in by these agencies in accommodations which are isolated, which are far from the villages. That you have to, for example, like 1.5 hours walk to first shop. There's no any infrastructure. So and another thing, this accommodation are connected with work. So if you lose work, you lose accommodation. You lose your like your resident status in Poland. No, so all this system makes that agencies use vulnerability of these people.
Yeah. So you're saying that these agencies are, they're taking advantage of these people, these victims. I wanted to ask also, you said many times they are in faraway, remote places, far away from any sort of real civilization. So it becomes hard then, but how would then a victim in such a circumstance, how would they reach out to the authorities? How would they be able to find help in such a worst case scenario?
The thing is, like, and this is our work, what we want to do, it's to try to reach those people with information before they fall in undocumentation. So because when we will be able to reach them before, we can start organize for their from the procedure. So this is one thing. Another thing is, I could recommend for them to really check well social media of their own communities, because on the social media there's already a lot of information which agencies should be avoided. But many times those people don't trust this, because I don't know, this information don't come from like official source, or even if the information reach to them that, okay, don't go to work with this agency because you will finish as a victim of human traffic, they don't believe it, they don't trust it. But many times they don't have any choice, because this agency was their first address already, which they obtained in the country of origin. So they don't have like possibility when they already are in Poland. They don't have possibility to search for another employer. It's also another problem in Poland. That if you want to change employer, if you want to be like in a residential procedure, you have to obtain, of course, working permit. For working permit, you wait 2 months or 4 months. So it's not possible. It's not possible for you to obtain this. You have to go to the working agency, because working agency have like special way, special path, and they can obtain it in 2 weeks. This is also kind of like systematic problem, because employers who really want to employ migrants on direct contract, they have to go through working agencies, because they cannot wait 4 months for work permit for this person.
Well, it does sound like the system.
Another thing,
I just also wanted to ask, in terms of the system itself, it sounds like there's still gaps to all this. You're saying it's about awareness. And I want to ask about this as well, because what about the public in Poland? How much of an awareness, let's say, gap? Is it sufficient? I mean, do people in Poland necessarily know what's going on? Not just, I mean, trafficking, I suppose they think that's going to be really far away. Is the public aware of what's going on in Poland to this degree?
Mm-hmm. I think it's increasing. The awareness is increasing, and what we find really like kind of hopeful that when people realize the situation of migrants, they feel ashamed, and they feel shocked and ashamed about this, and they would like to help. So this is the first thing. Even many employers try. We have cases when employers stop to cooperate with working agency when they realize how it functions and try to make this direct contact with migrants. But this is blocked by this 4 months wait for work permit. This is really blocked for the employer, so this should be changed. Another thing, it depends on the community. For example, when you have like Latin community, especially Latino community, especially a Colombian community, they start to be organized. Now they create trade union, and they start to kind of push their agenda mostly in 2 ways. First, inform Colombian people what should be avoided and what their rights, how the system is working, and another, inform Polish society about the situation of Colombian people.
Right.
So if there is this cooperation with migrant community, it works quite well. But
so there's cooperation. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there, Tomasz, but
yes.
As I said, there's a good sign. There's cooperation. I think more cooperation needed in terms, as you said, public awareness, what the government's doing, business and communities. But we'll need to wrap it up there. But thank you so much for sharing this very much insight on this crucial topic that is not getting enough attention, but hopefully it will now because of this. Thank you so much, Tomasz Bauer there. Appreciate all that.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks here on TVP World. Let's stay tuned. Much more coming up right here, so don't go away. Goodbye.